for me, having a clear mind directly translated to having a clear space. Minimalism mainly helped me reduce the amount of decisions that I had to make every day, which left so much more space and mental strength for me to focus on other important things. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Apologies if you can hear a sound in the background, that's my dog chewing. For this week's video, I'm going to be talking about something that's a little bit more on the sensitive side, so I'm just making this warning in case you're someone who is struggling with anxiety. You may be triggered by things I'm going to say, so this is sort of like your trigger warning. I'm also going to make a little warning that I'm in no way, shape, or form a medical professional, so please take everything I'm about to say with a pinch of salt. Just keep in mind that this is my own personal experience and that everyone experiences it differently. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to put this out on the internet, but I figured if this helps at least one person, then it's already worth it for me. So I'm just gonna grab myself a cup of tea so we can sit down and chat. Let me get closer to you guys. So basically, doctors believe that I have generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD for short. I was never formally diagnosed because the diagnosis was never made by a psychologist. It was made by my general practitioner. My general practitioner is my family doctor that I've had since I was pretty little, and when I started struggling with this, she gave me a lot of resources and information for me to try to sort of tackle it and see if I could help myself almost, because there's something very powerful that comes with being able to overcome anxiety, or trying to overcome anxiety by yourself. Having said this, it really is for a very specific sort of anxiety. If you're really struggling with your anxiety, you should be getting help from a psychologist. I don't feel like I will ever fully be cured from it because it's just a part of who I am and it's just a part of my personality, and I sort of just have to learn the tools to manage it and keep it manageable. It's chamomile tea, really good. So back in spring of 2016, I was at the movies. We were watching a horror movie. It was Insidious 2 or something like that. And during the movie, I started feeling really bad. Like I had this like sense of something's gonna happen to me. I'm going to pass out. I don't feel good. And I started feeling like my brain tingling, sort of like all of my muscles felt tingly and numb, and my heart was beating like crazy. And I at one point was convinced that I was having a heart attack. And it was so bad and so serious that I remember leaving the movie theater and like thinking like, I want to go to a hospital, like take me to a hospital please. And it just felt so horrible, and I was convinced that something was wrong with my heart. I was experiencing what I later found out to be a panic attack. If you've ever experienced a panic attack, you know how real the sensations can feel. Like your brain convinces your body that you're feeling these things. And the same thing happens when you're just having like a bout of anxiety. You'll get like chest pains that feel really real, but they're coming from your anxiety. It was insane to me that something so psychological could have such physical repercussions. I'd say that was the first time that I experienced a panic attack, and then after that it just became a reoccurrent event where I would get really panicky. And I remember there was this one night before we were about to go on vacation, and I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. I started hyperventilating because I essentially was breathing too much, so I was giving my body too much oxygen. And I finally understood why you're supposed to breathe into a bag when you're hyperventilating. It's because you're supposed to replenish the carbon dioxide and essentially not breathe as much oxygen into your body, that you can feel super lightheaded. And it was just a terrible sensation. I went from like traveling in airplanes almost every other month to being terrified of going into an airplane because I was afraid that if I had a panic attack in an airplane, or if I had like a heart attack in an airplane, that no one could save me because it was, you know, up in the clouds. Fast forward, I got a bunch of exams done to my heart. I got a 24-hour Holter exam done where they attach like this machine to you that tracks your heart. In the end, I'm 100% healthy and I'm super grateful for it. Physically speaking, psychologically speaking, I do struggle with anxiety, and it translated into my daily life where I was constantly worrying about work, about school, about my family, about money, about my relationship. It put a huge weight on my relationship. I was lucky enough to be with someone who was extremely patient with me and helped me figure everything out, but it really definitely took a toll on my relationship. There would be days, weeks that I wouldn't leave my bed. I started skipping school. I didn't really care about anything. I would feed myself cereal all day. Like, that's the only thing I would eat. And these things all make everything worse. And I remember at this point, I went to a doctor and I asked to see a psychologist because I said, like, I can't do this by myself. And it's extremely important, if you're going through something like this, to recognize that it's so important to ask for help, because it does get better and it can get better if you get the right support. Minimalism was something I started with the intention of trying to help soothe my anxiety as much as I can. For me, having a clear mind directly translated to having a clear space. The main thing that minimalism did for me is it reduced the things I had to worry about physically and psychologically. There's this thing called decision fatigue. If you don't know what it is, you should definitely look into it. The theory behind it is that each person has a sort of limit as to the amount of decisions they can make every day. And once you push that limit, the decisions you start making get sketchier and sketchier and sketchier, and they become harder and harder to make. And this all sort of contributes to a general mental exhaustion. Minimalism mainly helped me reduce the amount of decisions that I had to make every day, which left so much more space and mental strength for me to focus on other important things, or for me to focus on stabilizing myself when I was having a panic attack or I was struggling with anxiety. Having a capsule wardrobe means that in the morning I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear. My clothes all go together. I usually pick up the thing that's on top of the pile and I look put together. My meal prepping allows me to not have to worry about what I'm going to eat. The fact that I have a limited amount of dishes means I don't have that many dishes to wash, which takes away from my workload. Having a house that's easy to clean means I spend less time cleaning, means I have more time to work on school and my clients, and it frees some of the anxiety that I have on those things. In general, having a space that to me feels calm helps me have that overall calm feeling that is necessary in order to combat anxious thoughts. I actually got my dog to help me with my anxiety, and you wouldn't believe the difference it made. First of all, he makes me leave the house at least 3 times a day because I have to walk him and it's not an option. And sometimes just walking around the block and breathing in fresh air can make such a difference for my mental state. I'm lucky enough that my anxiety is extremely manageable. I know this won't work for everyone. For just people that struggle with like normal levels of anxiety from work stress and family stress and school stress, having an environment that's calming, that's inviting, that's organized will help you feel calm and organized and structured. If you organize and you don't declutter, those things are still there. Whether they're hiding in a drawer or not, they're still there. And getting rid of that burden of those things that I didn't need, and also getting rid of some financial burden by selling these things and having this extra money was really, really important. The biggest thing was that minimalism really helped me simplify my life so that I had enough time to focus on the things that I really needed to focus on, and mainly that was myself and my psychological well-being. I think that in the end, the message is you should have a space that contributes positively to the life that you want to be living. Having a clean, organized space with things you don't have to keep putting away, and having a closet that's streamlined to the point where you don't have to think about what you're gonna wear every morning. And just having drawers that close without having to be shoved can make such a difference. I highly recommend that you at least try, irregardless of whether or not you're struggling with something, to try to make your space and your things contribute more positively to your lifestyle. This rant has gone on for long enough now. Just a little update on how I am doing today. Like I said, I do feel like I have my anxiety under control. I do still get panic attacks, but I know how to deal with them. I use the app Headspace a lot, and they have in particular this one audio that's like SOS anxiety, and it's meant for you to listen when you're having like a panic attack or a bout of anxiety really bad. And for example, I've listened to it in trains and in public situations where I'm able to sort of have this guided meditation without anyone else knowing what I'm doing and sort of pull myself out of that negative headspace. I also drink a lot of chamomile tea and other calming teas. I try to keep my diet as healthy as possible because sugar also does play a role with your mood. But other than that, I'm thankfully doing okay. If you are struggling with anxiety right now, please reach out to someone, a family member, a friend, a doctor. It's so important to talk about it. Sometimes talking about it is enough to just release some of that sort of worry and concern. If any of you want to reach out to me because you relate to my story, please do. DM me on Instagram, I'll respond to you. Thank you so much for watching this super long video, guys. If it helped you and you want to leave me a comment down below, it'll make my day, so please do so. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.